Sure. Can be here.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our third panel in our Beyond the Game Esports series. I'm Laura Parks, and I'll be your host for the panel today. And our panel is going to be focusing on curriculum. And I'm excited to introduce our panel to you, but just so we're clear, our mission in this isn't to necessarily encourage more gaming. We're trying to include that beyond the game piece and healthy and positive gaming. And so in the curriculum pieces today that you're going to get, a lot of this is information that you can go back right away and integrate into your classroom. You don't need to have a standalone esports class in order to do the integration. And we're going to send you off to with a resource package with information that you could use right away. So I'm going to introduce our panel, and then we're going to circle back around and have everyone tell you a little bit about themselves. And then we will start with our panel questions. So first off, we have Lila Bowman from Minecraft EDU from Microsoft. We have Hillary D from NARIC, who's going to be focusing on wellness. We have Virginia Bond from NARIC, who's going to be focusing on the computer science standards. We have John Phillips from NASIF, and he's going to be focusing on the NASIF curriculum. And we have Lee Farquhar from Butler University talking to us about the curriculum at the college setting. So we're really excited to have everyone on. So just let everyone kind of come off mute and kind of give a little bit of background on who they are. And also too, we're covering a lot of geography today in the United States, so where they are as well. So Lila, we'll start with you.
So my name is Lila Bowman, and I am the Senior Program Manager for Minecraft Education Edition, and I oversee all of our content for computer science, for cybersecurity, and esports. My background actually is in esports, that is Minecraft. I helped launch the Florida's Classic Esports League and was a part of NASIF as well. And I'm a very proud member of that. Although my kids will say that I'm kind of like the least likely person to do esports, which I take it as a badge of honor. It means that anybody can really go ahead and launch their esports program. And I'm coming to you from sunny San Diego, where I am at the ASU GSE conference around educational technology, where I can tell you tons of excitement about esports.
Thank you, Lila. Wonderful. Hillary, do you want to say hello and give everybody a little overview?
Hi, everybody. Nice to see everybody. I am here actually in beautiful Gansevoort, which is by Saratoga. We're actually at another conference. I'm with Virginia. I am Model Schools Coordinator for NARIC in Albany, and I am also on the esports team. And I've been working with esports with Laura for a couple of years now. And I also am very, very interested in wellness and recently completed a digital wellness educator course as well. And excited to talk about gaming and wellness today.
Thanks, Hillary. Yeah. Virginia Bond.
Yeah. I'm going to talk from there. Hillary's right next to me. My computer doesn't love audio. So hi, everybody. The name is Bond, Virginia Bond. Bond like James, Virginia like the state. And I work for NARIC as an instructional tech. I'm based out of Malone, so I'm up on the Canadian border. Been in the Albany office for the last 2 days, and like Hillary, you can tell we're the same orange background in Gansevoort today, and I'm going to speak to curriculum and specifically the New York State standards. And hi, John Redeker, nice to see you.
All right. John Phillips from NASIF. And I just want to say a quick aside on John. John was our partner at the NiceGate Minecraft build. And so John and I worked together in that day, and John comes up with some really creative builds. I'm just saying this on an aside. And that day, the build was how to remove plastics from the Great Lakes. So John and I worked together, and here's John.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Afternoon, evening, I don't know where you're at. So we'll just go with, hi, how's it going? John from Michigan and NASIF. I run the Southwest Michigan Esports League, and I'm proud to represent NASIF here today. We're going to talk about some curriculum, which is all entirely free for you to use tomorrow.
Thank you, John. And hi, Lee.
Hello, thanks for having me here. I'm Lee Farquhar at Butler University in Indianapolis. I'm the director of the School of Journalism and Creative Media, which houses our esports communication minor. So that's my most direct tie with this conversation and curriculum. I also oversee curricular development regarding esports across the university as a whole, and I am the advisor to the esports club here on campus. So a number of places that I'm plugged in, and happy to be part of the conversation.
Thanks, everybody. This is great. So you can see we have a wide range of folks on today with a lot of information to share. So I'm just going to begin right now. I have a quick few questions, and we're starting with Virginia, asking her a few questions about esports and computer science and the digital fluency learning standards, because we want all of this to come back to that integration for you here in New York State and how esports can support that. And also to paramount within all of this is the student engagement that comes when you're talking about esports with students. So Virginia, my first question going to you is, how does esports relate to the New York State computer science and digital fluency standards?
So, Laura, if you would advance, I'm going to have you keep sharing and go to the next slide for me. Anytime we talk about esports and standards, we can pull the 5 computer science standards in. Impacts, Laura's, it's going there. We're going to talk about impacts of computing, computational thinking, network systems and design. She's really hoping I can remember the 4th one, cybersecurity, and digital learning, digital literacy. So what I did is I basically went through and I pulled this component out and just basically gave a little snippet. They pretty much go across the board. And as you can see, esports does a lot of different pieces along the way. So I'm going to just kind of pull a couple out real quickly. We talk about career paths. I know that's something that Lee is going to talk about. Like, where can our kids go with esports? What are the career paths that are available out there for them? One of the ones that I thought was really exciting is thinking about accessibility. And we think about students with disabilities being able to play esports in a different manner. That's a whole different realm that I think people don't talk about. Data analysis and visualization. If you have ever seen students play esports, it is insane. I'm going to give you a little tiny tidbit of a story. I played Rocket League. It took me 10 minutes to score a goal, right? These kids are scoring goals. They probably score 10 in 10 minutes, and they see the game happen in front of them. They're totally looking at that data all the time and visualizing it and making it happen, and they can do it on the fly. That's just not, my brain does not work that way. But that's just a couple examples of how esports ties into those computer science standards.
Thank you, Virginia. And then subsequent to that question, just wanted to ask you, when we're talking today, everyone, Virginia, and whenever I ask a question to any of the next panelists, Virginia will be coming in and kind of tying in these pieces from the computer science standards. And then just one piece to add on these, it's networks and systems design, which we want to always be incorporating. And that's really taking apart machines and putting them back together. So there's just a piece that we really want to encourage with this, and that's a really good thing. And that's part of the standards. So
the other thing I just want to tell people in the presentation, if you click on the little 5 block, it will bring you to the spreadsheet of the computer standards that you can use. And they're in there, they're banded out by grade that you can use. I didn't do anything magical. It's from New York State Ed Department.
Thank you. So Lila, coming to you from the Minecraft lens, and anyone can add in here as Lila's talking, John, I know you'll have some pieces to add too, but can you share some of the essential elements of the Minecraft EDU curriculum? And then subsequent to that, what does a lesson look like that's been mapped out to the New York State computer science and digital fluency standards? Oops, you're muted.
The very first thing that we did was actually assign all of our computers.
So I think we have a little bit of trouble with the sound on this. I'm not hearing quite.
Come back to me because I'm having.
Perfect. Okay, we'll come back. All right, we'll move to our next question, which then is going to be regarding wellness in esports. And so Hillary, what curriculum is out there to support wellness in esports? How does this connect to the New York State computer science standards?
Well, if you will allow me to drone on just for a couple of minutes and actually share a presentation, because there is a lot and I think it's easier. And then I will also, once I'm done talking, I will throw this in the chat too, so everyone has this presentation and can look at all of the links, because there's a great many. And I talk a good game here, but let's see if I can actually share this. Assuming I can. Let's see. I should have sent this to you, but I think it's good.
Doing
Can you
great.
see
You
that?
got it.
All right. So driving along here, to me, wellness in gaming is sort of like giving the kids the keys to the car, right? There's such an opportunity for growth and self-reliance and for empowerment and freedom. And it's something that kids want to do. So we're sort of meeting them where they are, they're excited. And in many cases, and especially with gaming, right, the kids are already driving. They're already playing these games. So this is such an opportunity to sort of harness the power of gaming and that interest that students already have, and sort of rein that in and throw in social and emotional learning and wellness. So there's a lot of curriculum out there, and I'm so excited to have John on here because I'm going to talk a little bit about the NASEF curriculum, and I hope I do it justice, John, so correct anything that I say that is not right, but that is one of the strongest, and I have to say free, right? So, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So there's a lot of curriculum to make those SEL connections, and I'm going to go through that real quick. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about rage quitting. So I live with a 10-year-old, and I pretty much could have taken this picture. Sometimes that picture, if it wasn't a little boy and was a grown woman, would be myself. I am not too proud to admit I had a small fit last night over 2K basketball because I was like, my shots never go in and yours always do. Shame, but emotions do run high in gaming. And I think it's very important that we admit that and that we understand that emotional management, there's such an opportunity here to talk about that. And you may talk about that in sports clubs, in sports teams. And have that coach, you know, somebody who's there to sort of help kids regulate and build those skills. But when you're not in that situation and you have kids that maybe aren't aren't on teams of regular sports teams that we think about, you know, like basketball and lacrosse and things like that, here's an opportunity to reach those kids through gaming and build these skills like collaboration, connections, which is huge, skill building, you know, teamwork. These are all important pieces of gaming, and they're a place that we can come in and work with these students. So again, NASEF, the Connected Learning Lab found that, and you can go to this article, you can look at it, found significant SEL gains like cooperation, like grit, like self-management, like perseverance. These are all really important skills that we can harness through esports. And just because I don't want to go on too long, I'm going to jump into the NASEF Health and Wellness curriculum. This is so awesome. It has this beautiful graphic. It has a framework with 4 domains. You can download this right now. There's a Get It Here link on the bottom. Relationships, such as looking at connections, looking at community, world, such as the choices we make and how they affect us and others and the spaces that we choose, sort of economics and looking around and seeing what works in productivity. Feelings, so what matters, what is our purpose, investigating what are our passions, and then looking at the skills that we have and what careers those could translate into. There's also my favorite thing, and I know it's Laura's too, this wonderful infographic about growth, activity, mind, a positive environment, relationships, and sustenance, all spells gamers, which is like super cool to me. And you can even put that right up in your lab. So this is a great place to start when you're looking at wellness and you want to make those connections. And if I could advance to the next slide, that would be amazing. Another one that you can look at, and this is not free, I will say, but they do have a wonderful free component that you can get. It's like a preview, is Gaming Concepts with Mental Health Moments, which is awesome. This is just a turnkey. It covers 11 standards. There's 81 lessons in here. Laura talked about systems and building systems and things like that. So this is a curriculum that sort of covers everything and then interjects these mental health moments and skills. And if you want to get the preview today, you would already get food pyramid, exercise nutrition logs, portfolio reflections, so students can work on self-expression and connection with adults, and codes of behavior, which addresses that toxic culture that we hear about in gaming. And finally, I have to give a shout out to the Garden State Esports EPIC curriculum, which is just fabulous. Garden State Esports, if you're starting a program, is a great place to start. They have everything. And the Get It Now link will take you to a sign up, but once you do fill out the form, you will get the curriculum EPIC for free. It is a big curriculum. I have it actually here. I don't know if you can see this. It's really, really big. And it's amazing, and it took years to build. It has skill building with communication, teamwork, and leadership, health and wellness, that important triad of sleep, exercise, and nutrition, and then also navigation through that digital culture that involves sometimes hate speech and rage and toxic culture. So that's another one. And tying that all back really, really quick, which I think may be Virginia's job, but I'm just going to do it real quick. If you're looking at digital use, you're talking about making those connections. Here we are in the computer science and digital fluency standards, which I always feel like is such a mouthful. And then also with citizenship, you're talking about privacy, safety, identity, identifying, negative behaviors, positive mental health, all of those pieces. And the biggest one, the 9 through 12 standards, strategies that support positive mental health in the digital world include both ways to avoid and handle bullying and interact positively. Well, gaming couldn't be a better place to work on those skills. And with that, I am going to stop sharing. Thank you. If I can.
Hillary, that was great. That was wonderful to share. And, like Hillary said, there's so many opportunities for use for these infographics. We've made them into poster size and have shared them with districts. They're great exercises just to consider with your team, just as a pregame warm up. So again, a lot of incorporation for wellness and awareness at the esports level. So Lila, we are going to come back to you. Yeah.
Hey.
All right, so I'm in, and again, just talking about Minecraft EDU and what they have to offer. And again, just so everyone is aware, Minecraft EDU with your district EES subscription is provided to your district through your administrative console. So again, it's actually free once your district enables that. So Lila, can you share some of the essential elements of the Minecraft EDU curriculum?
And how it relates to esports. So first of all, for our computer science content and all our coding and cybersecurity content, we've aligned that to New York State standards. How does that look? It looks like what we've done is we've created standalone units to go along with the grade bands that can be incorporated really at any stage of student knowledge, whether students are beginning their experience in coding and computer science, or they are a little bit more advanced, taking them from K to 12 in a progression in the pathway. But the great part is that no matter where you begin as a teacher in computer science, the units are built really for you. It includes all of the folders that are all of the world, all of the standards are aligned. It includes formative and summative assessments that are built specifically for the state of New York. This will be available through your BOCES, through Laura, and we will be actually making it available in the in-game library. Great thing is that we also combine computer science, our coding skills with esports. So we built an esports subject kit. The esports subject kit has what we call our make and model world. So kind of the traditional build-a-thons and the not so traditional, like the John did at Nicegate, right? Which was this, a build-a-thon and a build challenge built on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and something really locally relevant, right? How to figure out a way to pick up the plastics in the Great Lakes. I saw one this morning, actually with the BBCU, another school district did a build-a-thon about how they were a city in the UK that's suffering from a lot of flooding, and how students utilizing a build-a-thon challenge to come up with innovative ways to stop flooding in their town. So we have these 24 worlds where with really inspiring backgrounds, where students can have, and when you can as a teacher, create a website for free. You already have a license in Microsoft Education to be able to have to launch your build battles and your esports competitive experiences, whether it's done in a traditional Minecraft building or utilizing computer science coding. It's really, really great. So we have what are called Code to Create worlds. We have our model world, and I put in the chat already as well toolkits and our course. So we have a toolkit in Minecraft about how to start your club. It's aligned to what NASEF's work is, so it's really not different. It's aligned to both the wellness and of course the different domains around connecting careers, as well as aligning your state standards. So we've done a lot of work there, and I want to thank Laura really for being a great partner, making sure that we stayed fidelity to the standards, because that's of course top line and of course. So toolkits and how to start a club. Toolkits about how to do a tournament. It's a little bit different, right? How to run your own tournament. So that toolkit link up there as well. And last August, I think some folks on this call actually attended. we launched the Microsoft Esports Teacher Academy. So I've put this on live. It's now available for free on MS Learn. There are 4 different modules, and you will connect with the Microsoft Esports Teacher Academy Esports Leader Badge. So a lot of resources available, aligned with standards, focusing on computer science, and those amazing careers that are out there for kids.
Lila, do you mind if I share the Animal Rescue Center lesson plan that is created with the standards? So everyone, I'm going to give you a picture of the New York lesson plan. Is for grade 4. Lila worked on this over the summer, and we've shared this with a few folks, but just so everyone can see, just have to do a quick move here, this lesson. So like we said, this is for grade 4. Animal Research Center. And the lesson, it describes the lesson, and it's really talking about how to do research online. But Lila had identified the standards, grades 4 through 6 in New York State digital literacy standards for this lesson. So they're right here, baked right into the lesson. And then the lesson in and of itself, I can share with you, but everyone knows all of the lessons are this easy with the teacher preparation, theme overview, learning objectives, and then activities. And the thing with this is it's great because we're engaging in computer science. It's great because this is very engaging to the students that we serve. So
and
just
built a PowerPoint as well, right? So not only do you have an educator guide that, as Laura is sharing with you, really kind of spells it out, but it has assessments like pre-starting your lesson. How do you really assess different types of information in this world right now where there's so much misinformation? How do you identify what's credible? So before you start doing a Minecraft world about sea turtle assistance, well, how do I learn about sea turtles? There are many students in your classroom that may not know what sea turtles are. They have never been to see it. So how do you kind of level that playing field of knowledge as well as address the standards? And this is important knowledge for all of us all the time. If we provided like kind of pre-knowledge check and experience, and then you go into your world, you learn some coding, and then at the very end, as part of the action cycle, right, making sure that it's relevant to local experiences. You can choose an animal that is in need of conservation or protection in your local area. So how do you take what you learn in Minecraft and then transfer it to something that really matters and is relevant to you in the classroom that you love? And we can even connect this actually, Laura, right, to esports. So after your students have gone through this computer science experience and learning some coding, then go into a build battle. Let's go and now build our habitat that we made and have it in teams. And it's really the secret, right? It's an assessment tool. It's an awesome assessment tool, and not just for builders or for coders, but for kids that want to chat class or kids that want to talk about the culture that they made for sharing about what they learned in coding. There's all different ways as a teacher that you can employ the love of esports to really assess the students of mastery.
And the thing I liked about this particular lesson was I wanted to show everyone, for people who want to engage with, say, Minecraft EDU or these curriculum, like say, oh, I'm not a Minecraft player, or I don't play video games. That exactly like Virginia shaking here. You don't have to be. Like this lesson, for example, is through the Minecraft platform, using those Minecraft ideas, but actually, incidentally, it's not even building anything at all on Minecraft. So I really hope that this provides anyone who's reluctant to feel comfortable diving in to some of the Minecraft EDU pieces. Lila, any other thoughts, or we can circle back and bring the question to John. So
One thing
John,
I would just push to that, Laura, sorry, is that
yes.
We have to remember that the New York State Computer Science and Digital Fluency Standards involve everyone, and they are all interdisciplinary. It's not going to fall to one teacher. The entire school needs to be involved in that conversation and in the teaching of those standards. So it's the perfect tie-in across all curriculums.
Excellent point. So now we're moving into the NASIF side of the curriculum with John. And the picture I actually have up here is what you see when you go into NASIF. If you go right to the NASIF site, you do a quick sign in. And then if you go onto the curriculum page, this is what it looks like and you have many, many drop downs and opportunities. So John, how does the NASEF curriculum operate, and how can educators access this curriculum?
Well, again, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm going to quickly share a document, assuming that my computer likes to work with me today. I believe we should be good. Can you guys see that okay? Perfect. Thank you for the thumbs up. So one of the core things about NASEF, and I want to really clarify this, in the NASEF world, we don't talk about as esports just as esports. We're talking about esports as scholastic esports, which is a very intentional use of the word, which means we're looking at the educational possibilities of using esports and how this can work towards the kids' future. So as you can see here on the second slide, at the center of our infographic there is your players, your button smashers, the kids who like to scream and play Fortnite all hours of the night. However, if you're looking at the ecosystem as an entirety, you're going to be looking at other career paths that actually match in. And this is where we're talking about those careers I saw listed in your state standards. This is huge. We got to talk about all the things that go alongside esports that are not just button smashing. Now, is button smashing incredible? Absolutely. And if you want to see how it ties into mathematics, I encourage you to look up Mark Rober's Super Mario Effect TED Talk. Absolutely phenomenal. He talks about the different algorithmic patterns that have to be learned in order to get Mario through level 1 of Mario Brothers. So to that end, though, if you look at it, we kind of break this down, and all of our curricular ideas are around these 4 key concept areas. So we're talking about your strategists. These are the people who are going to be your coaches, your theory crafters, people who have to do the analysis for your esports program. So as these professional teams get better, the only way they get better is to continue to analyze the data, play stats, all that stuff. The next area is going to be your content creators. I guarantee you have these kids. The entrepreneurs is another part, as well as the organizers. So I want to go down and kind of take a look at this, because we kind of broke these down in this graphic to kind of give you a better idea how to identify who these kids might be and where they might fit into the esports scholastic ecosystem. So here's the first one. It's going to be your content creators. You know these kids because you see them, they're drawing and coloring, they're blogging, they'll tell you about their Twitch channel. They might tell you about TikTok, even though if they're under the age of 13, they shouldn't be on TikTok. And these are going to be your designers, your 2D, 3D designers. These people have a place in the esports ecosystem. It is important to have graphic designers and all of these different components, and this is wrapped into the NASEF curriculum. You can identify your entrepreneurs because they're going to end up one of the ones, they're going to go lead a business somewhere, right? And this all ties directly through. You see we have courses there, the future of esports, marketing in English, all of these different pieces, and it's how they connect. For the courses, there are CTE certifications and alignment that we have available to you for free to see. Those are all aligned to California's CTE standards, but as we've been working around the world and around just in the United States, it aligns pretty much to everybody's CTE standards. There's a pretty good connection there. You'll also see an identified set of skills as well as future careers for these students. Your organizers, clearly we have some organizers in this group because we're here for a big webinar, right? You have to have people who can organize things. They're the person who can't stand it if something is out of order, or everyone has to be at the same place at the same time, as well as your IT support. There is no esports without IT support. So again, stressing the need in the future for why we need computer science education, we need the next level of student who's going to do this for you. So, and the last one here is your strategists, theory crafters. This is your analyzer. Data is their friend. They love to read every little blog, release note, everything. These people are crucial because they're going to be the one that help your players and help your team continue to grow and see where the trends are and where you need to go next. So with that being said, NASEF has developed a free curriculum specifically aimed at 9-12. We do have a middle school component, which I'll talk about here in a minute. And I also have, from a little secret source, there is an elementary aligned curriculum that is coming down the pipeline that might be getting created here at my house currently, but not by me. So interesting to know because I've been seeing all the drafts, which is fun. So as we look through this curricular piece, you can see here, this is our 9th through 12th grade pathway. It is the University of California approved, so they can play this and use this in California, directly aligned to their standards. I don't know if you've ever dealt with their Department of Education, very strict. So this is how they've developed it. They've tied this into the English classroom. because as was said earlier, all teachers are computer science teachers. All teachers are computer science teachers, and we have to keep pushing that through. So we have an English 9 unit, all designed around games and simulations. English 10 is around entrepreneurship. English 11 around marketing, and English 12 around hospitality and tourism. All of these things come together to make so you get the kids who will rise up to be your strategists, content creators, entrepreneurs, and organizers. So that's how NASEF really does this. And if you look here, this is our Cte Pathways. This graphic is too small to be seen on the screen, I know, but it is available to you for free to glance at and look at through the nasef.org website. And you can take and see how this ties into the 15 esports ecosystem careers. And then finally, the middle school supports. So we've developed an early career exploration idea with the middle school curriculum. It has been adapted and challenging. It's based on PBL. So it's getting kids active and doing things. And as we like to say, we're gonna give them the cheese sauce where they get to play the games, but they're also gonna get some broccoli or cauliflower at the same time, maybe not realizing that they are. Excuse me there. But this is how we're gonna get them engaged in what's gonna be their future, headed towards where we're seeing with Sean and where he's going Lee, brain not functioning, with Lee and what they're doing at Butler. So if you look down here, this does come in multiple formats. There is a 9-week format, easily extended to 18 weeks. It includes other curricula, has 4 eSport job domains, which I mentioned above. It is talking about the classroom and research and all these things that we saw with Minecraft. And it's all laid out in such a way, you do not have to be an esports expert. You can be Joe Schmo, amazing teacher, and you can teach this stuff. You may not know anything about the games, but the kids will tell you, and you will discover it, and you will find out you've been missing out all along. And you'll know why the rest of us were geeked out this morning when Lego's brand new Star Wars game released, and at like 12:01, it downloaded to my Switch. So I had to pull myself away to make sure I could come to this webinar, because I'm going to tell you all 9 movies. Oh my goodness, mind blown. I'm sorry, squirrel. Anyway, so this is what the curriculum looks like. It shows you, it breaks it down even to the point where you're going to do a meet and greet. You're going to set up how it's going to work. You're going to do some healthy gaming stretches, talk about your sorting survey. You're going to develop a club charter, wrap up and pledge dismissal. That's your first session. All the sessions are laid out like this. Also, you'll see each one of those lesson plans that's available to you directly ties in and identifies the standards that it touches on. So you can look for keywords that you can map directly to the New York State CS standards and make it work for you. So with that being said, I know this is a whole lot and really quick, but we wanted to make sure that we gave you the opportunity to kind of see what we have to offer you here at NASEF. And again, 100% totally, completely free.
John, that was an excellent overview, and we appreciate that. And to be honest with everyone, we couldn't do NARIC Esports and have it under the instructional realm if it weren't for NASEF. We've been working with their curriculum, connecting with them. We're part of a community of educators with them, and that's actually how we've connected with John. So again, to any of you, we would love for you to become an NASEF affiliate and come on board and be an affiliate with us, because there's also opportunities when you're an affiliate to participate in the FarmCraft competitions that come up, as well as many other things that they offer. But the one thing that we really do want to stress is that this curriculum is there, easy to use and free. So thank you, John. And Virginia, do you have anything to add on that? Yep, a couple more pieces. Perfect.
All right, just one more piece, and I do want to kick onto this just real quick. Laura just tipped off a huge thing. The brand new FarmCraft 2.0 just launched on the 31st. So it is brand new, just released. You should all go check it out.
John, actually, if you would, I'll start with Lee, but maybe we can just come back. I'll give you a moment and we could share with everyone just what FarmCraft looks like and how to register, because that's a huge part of the curriculum, and it's put out actually by the Department of Health, right? They work actually with the Department of Health on this. It's a healthy piece as well. So Lee, So happy to have you on. So you can see how our progression went with our discussion of curriculum. So now we're coming into talking about, so curriculum, we're preparing our students to understand the esports ecosystem, that perhaps there's a future at college to take some courses. So we wanted to show you what it looks like at a university, a program in esports, the academic side of it. So Lee, thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And what a perfect lead in, having John go through those 4 areas: strategists, content creators, organizers, entrepreneurs. Those are very similar, and in some cases exact types of conversations that we were having at the college level of what types of skill sets are we capable of building up in our students? What are our students coming in with? What are they looking for? What does the industry demand? So if we're talking about a $1 billion esports industry, and several times over that, if we're talking about sort of gaming as a larger entity, there's a lots of opportunity for jobs, for careers, for passions about gaming to turn into something down the road that they do this for a living. So I'll talk a little bit about the Butler University take on this, and know going into it that we focus on what we could do really well. And there are dozens of esports programs at the university level that might be a little bit different based on sort of where their faculty or where their programs greatest value is. Let's see if I can advance this thing. So things that we were looking at, we brought in esports industry experts, students, as well as our own faculty to start trying to dissect what kind of skills we want out of this. And most of these align with those 4 categories that John presented, but things that we tended to all sort of continually work on and toward, things like production, design, promotions, and more of a strategic communication type of presentation, management, entrepreneurship. So there's certainly a heavy demand for business skills in this space, writing and multimedia storytelling, media analytics and web, social, and a number of others. But these were sort of our central categories that we wanted to put into our program that students would have an interest in, but are also in high demand on the back end. So we'll talk a little bit about how it developed. So as an interdisciplinary program, again, I'm so happy that the K-12 range has started to adopt gaming and esports as a great place of training young minds and getting them geared up and sort of harnessing passion for this. How we developed our curriculum was really 2 of our stronger areas are College of Communication and the School of Business. So we thought those would be areas that we could focus on. We have a really strong computer science program as well. But for our first iteration of this, we wanted to focus in on communication and business. One thing that I'm sure you'll all find is that if you start looking at the world of esports, there are 1,000 tentacles coming out, and you sort of have to pick what you're going to focus on. So our conversations in the interdisciplinary conversation started really broad of what are all of those thousands of things that we could be having in our program, but to deliver a minor that makes sense and gives tangible skill sets in 1 or 2 areas seemed to be a better route than trying to do everything at once. So there are other programs that focus on other things. Here's where Butler ended up landing. So we have a required core that includes primarily business and communication courses. So we have marketing, esports production. So this would be in-house, in-arena types of productions, as well as streaming, real business experience, and then sort of a broader intro course. And then after that, students select electives on areas that they want to focus in more. Video production, sales, promotions, event management, hospitality, and tourism. Again, a lot of those 4 categories that John outlined in his presentation match up very well. So it's exciting to see that maybe 9 through 12 or maybe even younger students are getting sort of built into their mind, like, hey, this might be a career path, or at least an interest that can take me down to the next step down the road. Even if it doesn't ultimately ending up being a career in esports, certainly if you develop business or marketing or promotions or production skills, those are definitely transferable skills to other related industries as well. That's my slideshow. I'm happy to have any further conversation in any Q&A, but I did want to I'll defer the rest of my time back to John. I do want to hear the circle back.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And I think it's very exciting. I feel like we're kind of building a brand new path for students, or one that has been existing, but here in New York State, we're working really hard to make sure that we're fortifying our students with everything that they need, so that if this is an interest, again, billion-dollar industry with a lot of engaging jobs, our students in New York State will be prepared for sure.
And I will say one element in our design of our curriculum. So for the esports communication, we intentionally designed it as a minor. So if a student wanted to go into esports business, focus their primary discipline on business, and then the esports element can fill in gaps perhaps with communication or production that they might be lacking, or the esports industry specifically, but they still have sort of their primary disciplines as kind of their anchors, whether it's marketing or productions or production or business.
That's awesome. Very exciting. Thank you, Lee. So John, not to call you back on the spot, but we're interested in FarmCraft, just to share with everybody, because this is something that could, I feel like, really engage students and light up the curriculums in any way. So many interdisciplinary connections. So thank you, John.
Oh, absolutely. I'm happy to wrap back. You know, anytime I get to advocate about the cool stuff we're doing for kids, I'm there. So one of the other pieces that was brought up, and I do thank you, Laura, for kind of tipping this off. And it was, we have just launched for the second year in partnership with Microsoft, in partnership with the United States State Department. We have launched this thing called FarmCraft 2.0, or they're calling it FarmCraft 2022. So as you can see, this is through NASAF. It's provided and funded through the United States Department of State, and it is being used globally. What this is, it's a free and open competition. If you don't have Minecraft licenses for any specific reason, all you do, register, sign up, and we'll get you licenses to use during the time that FarmCraft is going on. There are prizes at the end. And basically, I'm not going to go through and tell you everything other than to say, I would encourage you more than anything to take a look at this thing. It is going to teach kids the foundational skills for how to start farming, how to manage crops, why bioethics matters, insect control, as well as economies of scale. So all of this baked into a custom world inside Minecraft. My wife and I held a summer esports camp here in Michigan last year, focused entirely around FarmCraft, because we were able to tie in. We live in a very agricultural community. We were tying in the local tie-ins, as well as the kids got really versed in soil quality and why it matters if you spray pesticides, what happens to your pollinators. All of these different components are all baked into this incredible free world for you to use with your students, and you don't have to worry about scoring it because the system scores itself. If you remember back to the old days of the sim games, it's kind of like the sim games on steroids in Minecraft, I think is the best way to really put it out there. And then in addition, we also are doing some live streams to show you how to get this thing going. And if you want to see some of the stuff from last year, you can see we've offed our preseason launch schedules. We also have shared out what happened last year. So you can see how the students did, how they learned. And you can look here, this is countries registered for FarmCraft. It is not a United States thing. This thing is happening all over the place. So I do encourage everybody to take a look at FarmCraft. It's free. We also just finished the Solar Sprint Challenge with the United States. Oh, where is it under compete? Oh no, under events. Nope, compete, Minecraft events. We just finished this, where is it? Junior Solar Sprint, which was with the United States Army, talking about how to develop solar cars, again, with another custom Minecraft world, where the kids actually had to develop their own solar car and why that mattered and how it could function better. And then we also did something with simple machines in the Rube Goldberg Challenge, which is still occurring right now. All of these are free for you to sign up and do with your kids right now. So I would encourage all of you to explore that. And with that, I'll turn it back.
John, thank you. And just so everyone's aware too, NARIC has a data privacy agreement with NASIF, and they're also on the New York State Instructional Contract Consortium. So we feel very lucky to have this to offer. And again, not very often that we have something like this for free. The mission behind NASIF, I feel, is to truly engage students and to bring the beyond the game piece to esports, where we know we can engage our students. So, well, we've heard from all of our panelists and we've made some interesting connections for everyone today. We have a bit more time, so I was just going to circle back to the panelists to see if there are any parting thoughts for our participants.
John, I want to speak to your middle school curriculum and how it would play into New York State. So in the middle schools, we have a tech requirement, and school districts are having a terrible time finding a tech teacher. But wouldn't that curriculum fit into that perfect? It's a 10-week course or a 20-week course, depending on how your school set it up. So that would be the perfect curriculum to be able to use into that. And it would we're sitting here thinking that. And Laura, our team wants to do FarmCraft. I'm just saying, we want to do it as a team.
We're in. We're in. And again, I think the important piece about this for today, any educators here or anyone who is not in the classroom, but in the esports ecosystem, I would highly encourage you to bring this back to any teacher that you know who likes to engage students and is willing to go off of the regular curriculum for a little while and integrate something in that will engage students. So if this is the first time you've heard of it, if you could just take it upon yourself to just kind of share this around. And you saw where John was at the top of NASIF. It's under compete or events. You'll see all of this. I can say as a user, I find the NASIF site to be very, very user friendly, and they have so much there for you. Virginia, any other thoughts on the standards or connections to make for everyone?
I think, again, just pushing, I put the link for the spreadsheet in the chat. It's so easy to use. You can sort by grade level, by band. And like John said, just take anything that you're finding and plug it in. And don't just think that it has to be computers. I was thinking, as someone was talking today, I think it was Layla, when she was talking through about the researching with students, that is the concept of abstraction and decomposition. You have to see the whole, so computational thinking, you have to see the big picture, and then you have to be able to break it down into those little pieces. That's what we need our students to do, right? We all want our students to be better problem solvers. That's what we're trying to get them to do. So that's a process that fits in every curriculum, everywhere, and we're all doing it, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you're starting with standards, think about what you're doing and just walk forward from that, and esports fits right into it.
Thank you, Virginia. Anyone else? Anything else we want to offer to our participants this afternoon? Well, I want to thank everyone so very much for joining us. Again, the mission here is to engage students in New York State and get them ready for the next level of career paths. We've put a lot of information in the chat, and also we'll be sending out a digital resource folder with some things that we discussed today and all of the links. And lastly, too, if you're from our region, Hillary, Virginia, and I, we're starting a Microsoft kind of a group of people, a collaborative to help to launch this and extend this a little further up here in New York State. So Hillary or I are very happy if you send us an email to invite you in and just collaborate with you. If you're either interested in Minecraft or if you're doing some great things, we want you to be part of our collaborative. So don't hesitate to reach out.
And we're throwing our emails in the chat right now.
Thank you. So without further ado, I want to thank from the bottom of my heart, John, Lee, Virginia, Hillary, and Lila for sharing their information with us all today and giving their time. And again, to all of you, I hope you have a nice afternoon and happy esports curriculum. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.